The LA fire should be a wake-up call about the predatory nature of the insurance industry. As of the time of this recording, the LA fires have damaged thousands of structures and over 2,000 homes have been completely destroyed in what's already been called one of the worst disasters in the history of California and also one of the costliest disasters in US history. In places like California, where wildfires are common, most people buy fire insurance for their houses, so in the event their house burns down, the insurance company will pay for the damages. At least that's how it's supposed to work. But people are justifiably extremely worried about whether the insurance companies will cover any of the damage at all. In the last few years, several insurance companies canceled a total of 2.8 million customers' insurance policies across the state, including 531,000 policies in Los Angeles County, saying they just didn't want to deal with the risk of it anymore. This choice has left what probably amounts to hundreds of thousands of people in LA County having no fire insurance right now because their insurance company canceled their plan. If any of these people lose their homes in these fires, they will essentially lose everything. Some people who had their plans canceled were able to switch to the state government's fire insurance plan called the FAIR Plan, but the FAIR Plan receives no taxpayer support whatsoever, making the plan extremely expensive for what amounts to bare bones coverage. While the state is assuring people that all the damage will be covered, customers will almost certainly foot the bill in the form of higher premiums. Now, the media is talking about the insurance crisis like it's a matter of bad policy or bad management. But the real problem is, insurance under capitalism is inherently predatory, corrupt, and directly incentivizes this exact type of behavior that we're seeing right now. Let me show you how. How do insurance companies work? Insurance companies make money by charging customers a monthly fee in exchange for the promise that in the event of some unlikely and expensive misfortune, the company will cover the cost. Now, in a fair and logical system, the company should have to own that loss. But we don't live in a system that's fair or logical. We live in a system based on maximizing profit. And in a system where the goal is to maximize profit, insurance companies would rather cheat their customers than honor the payments they promise them. So how do insurance companies cheat? Well, first, they can argue that the disaster incident was never actually covered by the customer's policy. One of the biggest things insurance companies invest in is an army of lawyers who write ridiculously complicated policies that are intentionally written to be confusing. The lawyers will layer hidden clauses in between pages and pages of dense legal language that say, we don't have to cover you if this happens, or we don't have to cover you if the damage happens in that particular way. The company, of course, knows that very few people will read their policies, let alone understand them, and when the day finally comes when the customer actually goes through that once-in-a-lifetime emergency, and they go to the company thinking the damage is covered, the company turns around and tells them, oh, actually, you're not covered for this at all. We don't have to pay you anything. Another thing insurance companies will do is massively underestimate the cost of repair or remedy. The way this works is that a lot of insurance policies determine how large an insurance payout will be based on the cost of repairing the damage. But the cost of repairing the damage, the insurance company will say, is up for interpretation, and what the company will do is intentionally underestimate the cost of repair. So if you got hurricane insurance and then a hurricane knocks a tree over and destroys your entire living room, an insurance company might come in and say, this will only cost $10,000 to fix, when you know for a fact that it'll really cost $30,000. Now, the practices that I've just laid out are so common, it wouldn't be any sort of exaggeration to say that they're baked into the business model of every insurance company. So why do insurance companies make a regular practice of doing things that are so blatantly corrupt and immoral? It's simple. The less money they pay out for our insurance claims, the more money they keep for themselves. This is also why I say that the corruption of for-profit insurance isn't a matter of opinion or a particularly evil CEO or company. It's an inherent feature of the industry. If you don't believe me, imagine what would happen if there was a good insurance company. A company that was moral and chose to pay what it actually owed its customers. The good company would make far less profit than the companies that cheat their customers and would thus have far less profit to deliver to their investors. The investors would then say, why are we investing money in this company that's not making us any profit? And they'll pull their money out of the good company and reinvest it in the dishonest criminal companies, because those companies will have much higher profit margins than the good company. The good company will then run out of investment funds and go out of business. In short, Cheating, lying, and stealing are inherent to the capitalist system because dishonest behavior is profitable. Insurance companies cheat their customers out of coverage because they keep more of the money that way. Phone companies build smartphones that break down as soon as the new phone comes out, so people have to constantly buy new phones. Pharmaceutical companies are probably kicking the can down the road on curing major diseases because they know that once they cure a disease, they won't have patients buying their pills every month. Honesty and morality are incompatible with profitable business practice, period. Why do we tolerate a system where people get rich by manufacturing suffering and misery? Why do we tolerate a system where people are rewarded with yachts and mansions for denying help to people on the worst days of their lives? The media keeps calling this a natural disaster, but thousands of people losing their homes and entire families going completely bankrupt? That's man-made. Not to mention, these insurance companies are quite literally making record profits off of our suffering, and we're supposed to feel sorry for them? At what point are we going to decide that we can't live like this anymore?